welcome back again to the channel. Today we're going to be doing brake upgrades on the tracker. So I went to the junkyard and I bought parts. Lots of parts. Just give you an idea what I got. I got some of these. I got some control arms with the hubs. I got brakes, more brakes. I got a couple axles with rear brakes. An air box. I got a full power steering setup. It's over here, over there, right there, power steering setup. So in other words, I have a mess. What I read online and what I researched was that the 4-door brakes are bigger brakes than the 2-door. And there's a 4-door at the junkyard with all these parts on it. It had the lift arms and everything else. And I finally decided I made the decision to go get all the parts. You'll see all the lift components, that stuff on a different video. I'm going to focus this video on brakes. So anyway, there will be a link right here-ish for the other video. Unless this one comes out before that one, then I'll have to go back and put the link in later. Anyway, probably be a week apart, whatever. Anyway, so brakes. I got home from the junkyard and I looked at the 4-door rotor and the 2-door rotor, stuck them together, and I was like, wait a minute. The 4-door is supposed to be bigger. It's not bigger. It's the same size, or maybe fractionally smaller. So I jumped on Facebook and asked a couple people before I really tore it apart, and I said, hey, what's the story here? And a couple different ideas of things to look at, a couple things they pointed out to me. And thank you to those guys who did that. I greatly appreciate that input so I can share it with other people. So what I found is brake pads. This is the brake pad off the 2-door. This is the brake pad off the 4-door. Stick them on top of each other and line them up like that. See, 4-door is just slightly larger than the 2-door. So you have a little bit more surface area on your pad. The other thing that's different is your piston diameter right here on your brake caliper. This has the mount on it, but the piston right here, that's also a larger diameter. This one I think I measured at a 2-inch diameter. Let's see here. Not a great way to measure that, but we're gonna get close, good enough for YouTube, right? About a 2-inch diameter piston on that one, at least the part's sticking out. And if I had to use a little eyeball here, eyeball the size of that one, it's about a 1 3/4 inch, about a 1 3/4 inch diameter piston on that one. So yes, the 4-door brakes are much bigger and therefore more stopping power. And if you really want to get into the math of it and science of it, I'll post it at the end of the video. That's what I'm going to do anyway. All right, the other difference I missed: vented rotor, non-vented rotor. 2-door tracker has a non-vented rotor, 4-door tracker has a vented rotor. The only difference that makes is for heat dissipation. The 4-door will dissipate heat better because if you look at heat transfer equations, they're based on surface area as a major factor, and the 4-door rotor gives you almost just a little bit less than double the surface area for cooling because you have all the surface area in here versus only surface area here and here. Now you know. So better heat dissipation, larger clamping force, and greater surface area that clamping force is applied gives you more stopping power. Okay, so what you're going to need to do that upgrade is when you go to the junkyard, you got to pull not only the caliper, which you can actually buy the caliper at the parts store, just get it for a 4-door model. But what I don't believe you can buy at the parts store is this little bracket right here. That bracket, you got to pull a junkyard or source from somewhere. Good luck. And then it's pretty simple. There's 2 bolts right back here. Pop those bolts out, slip your new, take your rotor off, and slide your new rotor on, slide your new caliper bracket on, new caliper pads, etc. Bleed them all, bada bing, bada boom. Dust shield, same diameter. I didn't know that. Anyway, if I had known that, I wouldn't have bought as many parts. Whatever, learn as we go. Okay, that's the summary on the front brakes. Back brakes. Oh, these parts are heavy, by the way. That was not as heavy. Back brakes. 2-door. 4-door. Big difference. That one's a lot heavier. 2-door right here. On the inside diameter, I got about 8 5/8 on that one. 4-door diameter. Good heavens, that's a lot of steel. I've got about 10. So you go from an 8 5/8 diameter to a 10-inch diameter. Big difference. So when I run bigger tire, I'm running 29-inch tires on this, 235 75 15s. At some point, I'm going to go up to a 31-inch tire. And so, nice to have more braking power with a bigger tire. Anyway, that's the summary of the brakes. So one other little thing that I'm working on are these little buggers. So the little slidey things, pins that your caliper bolts onto, they go inside of here. And what I noticed is the boots on the junkyard ones were not in very good condition, but the boots on my 2-door ones from my tracker were in actually really good condition. So I was pulling those boots off of here, and the little pin in there slides right out. What I noticed, quite an interesting little feature, is that the 2-door pin is, I don't know if you can see that, much smaller diameter than the 4-door pin. And it's much longer. That's interesting. It's also a huge length difference. Anyway. Okay, let's talk about back brakes here. For this one, you're just going to want to change out the entire assembly. So I've got the 4-door assembly down here on the ground. I've got the 2-door assembly. I haven't pulled it off yet. You got to pull your emergency brake cable out of this one. You'll have to reinstall it on that one, so you'll have to disassemble it completely. Take your brake shoes off, the whole 9 yards. On the back side here, there's the 4 bolts that hold the axle in. Pop that out. I'm not going to go through the whole process of how to do it and everything, because you can look online at how to do brakes. There's a lot of videos about it, probably a lot better than what I can explain here. But as far as a brake upgrade goes, it's going to be the full assembly from the 4-door. I would recommend, again, junkyard find the entire thing, the whole assembly. I grabbed the axle and everything because these axles are still shiny new. So, and I needed a spare for the passenger side, so why not just pull the axles and everything? So I have a couple spares for when I put a locker in this thing and I start breaking them. Anyway, that's what you need to know about brakes. Any questions, throw them in the comments. I'll see what I can do to answer them. But yeah, simple brake upgrades on the tracker. Now let's go over the whiteboard. I'll show you why a brake upgrade makes a difference. Why you would want to upgrade to larger brakes. So go over there. All right, we'll make this quick because I know people don't really like the math side of things, because the last video didn't do very well. Link is right here. Anyway, didn't do very well. I thought it was a great video, but whatever. We'll make this one short and sweet, but I do want to explain why larger brakes are better. So torque, brakes apply torque to the wheel to stop it. Torque is measured by, is a force multiplied by a distance. So we're going to take a circle, and that's not even close to center. We're going to call that the center of the circle. That's our radius. If we change this equation, instead of distance, it's a radius, right? Force times distance, which is a radius. If we increase the distance, we increase the torque. Like you saw with the front brakes, they didn't increase the distance. Rather, they increased the force. That's the basis of this. Rear brakes, they increase the distance. Force, as far as I can tell, is the same. But yeah, that gives you more stopping power. Same thing happens with larger tires. Why it takes more force or more torque to stop a larger tire, because your radius of your tire gets larger. Like with a tire, it's the distance between the ground, because the ground is pushing a force on this distance here. So your force multiplied by your distance is equals torque. So units for torque are going to be pounds of force times feet of distance. In metric, it's newtons times meters. So anyway, that's the math side of this. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death. Let me know what you think in the comments. Was this video helpful to you, to help you understand why you would upgrade brakes? So thanks for watching.